Well, very good morning. So last day we just been talking about routing. Yeah, we just been talking about the routing, how to do routing in our applications. I just been explained about routes. Am I audible? Okay. So given you a picture about how routing has to be done. So in this process, we are just been discussing about the route parameters in the last session, right? Route parameters. What are route parameters? The parameters what we are passing through the route are just what we call as route parameters. If at all you wanted to perform route parameters, I just shown you various examples to you here. I've shown you various examples to you how this route parameters can be used in your code. Okay, so yeah. So where we stopped at in the last class, we just been stopped at over here. What's it? Index 9, index 10, no, index 8 is where we stopped it, right? Yeah, that's what we just been stopped at in the last class. Fine. See, actually, without using this route parameters also, we can pass values to action methods. Without using the route parameters also, we can pass values to the action methods. For action methods, we can pass values without using routes also. No need of using a route. Without a route, we can pass values to the action methods. How? Suppose, for example, all of you have a look. I am defining a method like this. ID, name, price. Finally printing all the things. Nothing special. Simple code. Passing three parameters. One is ID. Second one, name. Third one, price. Like a product ID, product name, product price. Finally, I'm printing all the things on screen. Okay. But tell me, did you define a route for these three in your route config? No. What you defined is ID and name. And this ID and name are not there. Already said you, array names should match. If names are not matching, it doesn't work. Last class I shown you. If I use X here, that doesn't work. Correct? If I use X here, that doesn't work. Why? The parameter name should match now. Okay? We did not define a route for this. We did not define any route for this. A route has not been defined for this at all. Even though a route has not been defined here, I can pass on the values. Just a minute, guys. I opened in the normal mode. It was running in IES. I should open the admin mode. If you want to run in IES, you should run in admin mode. I just clearly explained. I just clearly explained to you already. So if you want to run your project under IES, you need to open it in the admin mode. We have already hosted on IES, so I should open in the admin mode now. Fine. So now, what is controller name? Params, right? What is index method name? Index 9. If I hit enter, I will get error. Why? You did not pass on a value for ID as well as price, because both are non-nullable. String is nullable, so it is showing an error with PID. With PID, it is just going to show you an error. Okay, it is showing an error. Then what about PName? Actually, price also should show error. First parameter is PID, na? So that's it is showing as PID. If I pass a value for this, then error will come at twice. Understood? So it is just going to show you the error now. Then how can I pass the values? In this scenario, if at all you want to pass the values, use query strings. Use query strings now. You can just use query strings and pass the value. How to pass the query strings? Come on, run. First, question mark is the concatenation operator. Question mark. Next, PID is equals to 101. Next, ampersand. Ampersand is the separator. Question mark is the concatenation. Ampersand is the separator. Name is equals to some name shows. Ampersand. Price is equals to something. I'm just going to pass on some value here and hit the enter, and the value should reach there. So I did not use routes now. Is that clear? So passing the values by using routes is one mechanism. Passing the values by using routes is one mechanism. But if at all you want to use, first you're required to define them in the route config. You're required to define them in route config. In the route config, you can define and you can pass the values. Option number 2 is using query strings. Option number 2 is using query strings. So I'll show you all the different varieties, how the values can be passed to an action method. Are you clear? The first way how you pass values to an action method is by using routes. Route parameters should be defined in route config. Second option is query strings. Understood all of you? Okay, so you can just use the query strings and you can just go for passing on the appropriate values. Fine. Now look at this. This is the method what you have just been defined, and all of you can observe. Yeah, 101 shows 3500. Will this work? Will this work or not? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. We already discussed it doesn't work. Why? Parameter names are not matching for us. So this is invalid. What about this? Is it valid? Yes, it is valid. What about the second? Valid or invalid? That's valid. Third one. All the three are valid. Except the first one, the remaining three are valid there. Why? Already shown you, yeah, interchanging. The previous examples I already shown you. You can interchange the parameters and use. You can interchange the parameters and use it here. So we can interchange the parameter, that doesn't matter. But directly if you try to pass the value, that doesn't execute. Is it clearer, everyone? Okay, so this is the second way how you can pass the values using query strings. By using query strings also, we can pass values to action methods, and to test that, add a new action method in the add a new action method into the params controller class as following. This is the method what you define. Is that clear? What next? The next one is without defining any parameters also, we can read the query strings in the code. Without defining any parameters also, we can read them in the code. What I'm trying to tell is, see right now, what did you do? You just used parameters here, passing the query strings. The query string values are coming into the parameters, correct? Watch it, all of you. What is this here? Simply Nisha, Sagar, question marks, what you are trying to ask? I'm getting in this namespace using system.web.mvc. We're getting error. You did not open an MVC project then. If you're getting an error, you did not open an MVC project. The project what you created might not be an MVC project. Otherwise, why will you get an error? Show me. In the last, yesterday given the chance for all to this, share the screen. Wait, in the last, I'll give the chance to share the screen. Yesterday, whoever have issues, they shared the screen and I fixed up all the problems. What the mistakes they have done, I just may know. If anyone still have any issues, in the last, I'll give you a chance to share your screen and show me. Without seeing, I can't tell you what mistake. You say you written correct only. Yesterday, someone was telling, local host I typed correctly only, sir. And local and host space is there. Local host is a single word. You think you done correctly only. Okay? So let me see and I'll confirm. Okay. Yeah. So if you just observe it, I am writing another method here. Watch it. 10. I am not going to pass any parameters. I am not going to define any parameters. Okay. But one thing, when I call this method, right now error will come. Just a minute. For the time being, I am just simply returning hello world. Now this doesn't have any parameters, right? Okay, run this. Params. All of you, watch the address bar, guys. Index 10. And I'm passing some values like this. But did I define any parameters to my method? I did not define any parameters to method, but I'm passing. But I am passing it. When I pass it and I hit the enter key, I did not get any error. This you understood? These values did not affect the execution of the method. Am I clear? These values did not affect the execution of the method. The method execution is not affected by this at all. Clear? Okay. But these values, these three values, what you passed here can be read in my code. I can read in my code. How, sir? How can you read it? You did not define any parameters at all. But without defining a parameters, how are you going to read these values? How are you going to read these particular values? Watch it. Request dot query string. Request dot query string. See, you're sending some values through a request now. Yes or not? Request and response. Understand? You're sending up all these particular values by using a request. You're sending it by using a request. And that request, you can read it like this. Request refers to the request string actually. That refers to requesting. Dot query string. You're pointing to the query string there. What is the query string? What is present after the question mark is what we call as query string. So in the request object, you are referring to the query string. And there you're required to specify the key name. What is the key name? PID. PID is the key. And the return type of this one is string. The query string will return you the value in the form of a string actually. It is going to get you in the form of a string actually. And because it is going to get the value in the form of a string, I'm writing int dot parse. Int PID is equals to. Got it? You can read the remaining also in the same way. Come on, tell me. String. Name is equals to louder request dot query string of name. Third one. Inta double price is equals to louder double dot parse request dot query string. Double dot parse request dot query string. What should I pass here? Price. Now all the three values can be read in this way also. This is another mechanism how you can read the values in code. Understood? They are passed as query strings only. So you can read query strings. See, both are query strings. Right now both the options what I'm showing is query strings only. How to read the query strings in my action method? Two ways. Option 1, define your parameters here. Option 2, use the request object and call request.queryString and read all the values. Run and check. Come on. What's it? Params. Index 10. See the URL, guys. Are you clear? I just trying to change this value 3800, whatever you pass, no matter. The value reached here. That's what I'm trying to prove you. Is that clear? Okay. So this is how you can just read the value. See, without defining any parameters to the method, without defining any parameters to the action method, also without defining any parameters to action method also, we can read query string. We can read query string values in our code. To test this, add a new action method into the params controller class as following. Are you clear? So what is that? Request. Request refers to the request what I'm receiving now. That is that points to the address. That points to the address. Dot query string. Now I'm pointing to the query string in the address now. The query string in the address now. So where the query string starts? Beside the question mark. The query string starts beside the question mark. How many values are there? 3 values. And the 3 values are sent in a key value combination. Remember, they're sent in a key value combination. So what you can do? You can just use the key name in your code and you can read the value now. PID, P name, price are the key. If I change the key name, that doesn't work again because key value combination compulsory. The key name is important for us while reading the things. Is it clear? Any doubts? Understood? Yeah, you can see all the different ways of execution. First one, invalid. Second, all the 3 works here also. Same only here. Previous one and current one are same only. 9 and 10 are same. Okay, now. See, in this case, ID and name parameters and route config class will not have any impact because both are optional. What is that? The ID and this one, like what I'm trying to show. Did I define ID? Okay. Yesterday in the route config you defined ID and name na? Yes or not? That will not have any impact here. Why sir? Because both are. Yesterday when you defined it, already ID is optional. When you added name, you add name also as optional. So ID, name are both optional. So they will not have any impact in your application code now. Okay now. Fine. Next. Now let us write another 2 methods to understand about query string. One with parameters and one. Another 2 methods I'm just showing you. One method with parameters and one method without parameters now. Okay. What if that is? Actually, I want to validate a user. I want to validate a user. Login. So if it is login, what you'll have? You will just have a text box. 2 text boxes. One text box to enter the username, one text box to enter the password. Correct? Okay. One text box to enter the username and one text box to enter the password. And now you enter the username in the first text box and password in the second text box. Are you clear what I'm telling you? Suppose the text box names are txt name and txt password. Just assume it, that's all. The text box names are txt name and txt password. Just assumption. Now all of you have a look on this. I am writing a method public string validate user. Validate user 1. The method name is validate user 1. For this, I'm just passing string user string password. 2 parameters I'm passing. So when I pass these 2 parameters, in the query string you can pass the values now? Yes or not? Okay, same as that, I can even write the method for you like this. Just a minute. I can even write the method like this without using it here. Same example. One more example I'm showing you, that's all. How can I read? String name is equals to request dot. Guys, without using request dot query string a lengthy code, you can also say request of PID. String password is equals to request of, sorry guys, not PID, request of user, request of password. You can write like this also. This is another way, simple way of writing the code. This is a simple way of writing the code. Request of user, request of password. Okay? Exactly speaking, request.query string is elaborative and descriptive. You understood the concept. Now I'm simplifying the things. No need to write request.query string. If you say request of also, it will read the values. Okay. Now if user is equals to some name, Raju, and password is equals to admin, return valid user, else return invalid user. Are you clear? Okay. It's all search engines. You have a set string name is equals to Raju and password is equals to it. Can you tell me how to write in the second method now? Come on. Directly, I can write off the if condition. Yeah, directly I can write off the if condition. No need again to read the values. No need again to read the values. Okay, the things are different here. Here we just called it as user and here we used it as password. If you don't want to be confusion, here also just to do the same thing. User, password. And these are only names here. The names doesn't have any. Oh, sorry. User. Names doesn't have any impact. You can use any names there. No issues with that. Did you understand? These two are the same examples like 9 and 10 what I shown you. Clear? The method 9, method 10 and validate user 1, validate to user 2 both are same only. There is no difference at all. Come on. Params. What is the method name? Validate user 1, right? Validate user 1. Query string. User is equals to Raju. Ampersand. Password is equals to admin. Valid or invalid? Valid user. Is equals to admin. Invalid. Why? Condition checks are case sensitive. Condition checks are case sensitive. Understood? Same way you are calling the second method. What is it? Validate user 2. Invalid. So let me correct it. Valid. Okay. So like this, we can just go for defining the things. I shown you one more example to you in that. Yes. If route not available, send values to query strings. Route not available. Sending values through query strings. That's what I said here. And I did not define a route. I'm passing the values through strings now. Okay. So you can just have a look at the code. You have the two methods what I defined. Yes, I explained you. I said you now no need of using query string. Without writing query string, if you say request of, then also it will work. No point of writing request.query string. Even you write request.query string also fine. Even you don't write request.query string also fine. If you simply say request of also, you get the values in that place. Is that clear? Okay, to be clear, if you're maintaining your notes, just simply write that also over there. Request.query string is there beside that, or request of name. I said you guys carry the notes into the classroom. Tomorrow don't come into the class without the notes. Can we pass few parameters as input parameters and few request parameters? In our case, user as method parameter and password is reading from request. But both of them, yeah, you can do. You can do that also, Sai Kumar. You can do that. Try it out. You can do. It works. Yeah, is how you can pass the values. Is that clear? Yeah, I just named it as validate 1, validate 2. In the classroom, I called validate user. I just change the names. Okay, let me change up here only. Validate 1, validate 2. Okay. Yeah. So this is all about how the parameters can be passed. Okay, see the beauty, all of you. Going forward, do you pass values to query strings like this? How do? We design a UI. We design a UI with some text boxes, check boxes, radio buttons. Correct? And afterwards, we are just going to pass the values here. We are going to enter the values here. Suppose tomorrow you have defined a UI. Tomorrow you defined a UI. And there you are creating two text boxes. Input type is equals to text. Input type is equals to text. ID is equals to txt name. And name is equals to txt name. I'm writing HTML code here. I'm not teaching you anything new here. Type is equals to password. ID is equals to txt password. Name is equals to txt password. So guys, all of you, I already said you this point, but one more time I'm reminding you. We have two attributes. See, type attribute, you know, whether to create a normal text box or password text box or further we are writing the type. And when you talk about the ID and the name attributes, ID is for identification of the control on the client side. This should always be unique. They should always be unique. Client-side identification. And what is the name, you know? The name basically is actually used for reading this control value on the server. Name is actually used for reading the controls value on the server. You want to read this controls value on the server. If you want to read the controls value on the server, then you require this attribute. What attribute? Name. Can't I use ID on the server side? No. ID is only for client side. Name is used on the server side. Can multiple controls have the same name? Yes. Multiple controls cannot have the same ID, but multiple controls can have the same name. For example, radio buttons. If you take radio buttons, you learned about radio buttons in HTML classes. What your teacher has taught you. When you are defining the radio buttons, suppose you have 3 radio buttons, all the 3 should come under one group now. You should give a unique name for all a unique ID for all the 3, but the name will be same for all the 3. The name will be same for all the 3. Will not have 3 names now, 1 name only. You can select anyone. It will send that to server. It will be sending that to the server. ID is always unique, but generally without confusions, what we do, you know, we give ID and name value always same. We give ID and name value always same. Are you clear? See, for username text box and for password text box, don't try to give the same name. When we give the same name for multiple controls, only in case of radio buttons. Only in the radio button scenarios we give. Otherwise, every control also will have a unique name and every control will have a unique ID. Only in case of radio buttons, unique IDs will be there, but unique names won't be there. Okay. Now, user will enter values. And now here I'm also creating input. Type is equals to submit. Text is equals to login. IDs and names are not required for these buttons, guys. Why, you know? We don't require to access them on this server. We don't require to access them on the server. So simple. So you see now what it creates you? 2 text boxes. 1 submit button. 1 reset button. When you click on the submit button, what happens? It will submit the data to server. Correct? Huh? It will submit the data to server. On the server, someone has to read these values now. Are you getting me or not? On the server, someone has to read these values. Clear? Suppose these values are being passed to a method called login. These values are being passed to a method called login. What is that action method? Action method is login. Okay, listen, this will be submitted to an action method login, and that login is defined in a controller called as account. What is the controller name? Method name? Login. So guys, observe it. Form. Okay, method is equals to post. Action is equals to, guys, observe it. What you write here, account slash login. That is the method what I am invoking. Now you guys observe it. When you click on the submit button, it will invoke you. Louder, open the mouth. Account controller, login action method. Did you catch my point now? When you click on the login, the values will go to where? Account controller and login. Now tell me, in account controller login, do I need these two values or not? Okay, watch. Public class account controller controller. Okay, and watch it carefully. Public, I want to read that particular values now. Public string, what is the method name? Login. See the beauty of MVC. What is that, String txt name, string txt password. And same thing now. If txt name is equals to Raju and txt password is equals to admin, simply I'll say return valid user, else return invalid user. Now, no query strings, nothing. When you enter the values and click on the login button, see there, the control names and the parameter names are matching or not? Come on. Are you clear? Automatically, the control values will come off to the parameters. That's the beauty of MVC. You don't require to read them at all. You don't require to read them. That's a beautiful mechanism what MVC provides to us. But if you work with ASP, ASP.NET or JSP, Java, JSP, any technology, compulsory, you just require to read the values. Request dot query string or request of control name, request of the second control name, everything you should read. But MVC provides a beautiful option. What it tells is match your control names with your parameter names. Automatically I will bring all the values to you and load you in the parameters. You are not responsible. I'll take care. Understood or not? So make sure your name here matches with the parameter name here. That's all. When you click login, the control name will come to parameter name. So from here, you'll get the value here. From here, you'll get the value here. Finally, you're just going to tell a valid user or an invalid user. Are you guys clearer? Did you understand now? Yes or not? You can use request.forms will be used here. In the request.query string, now you're using request.forms. Why? Actually, request.query string I said now. Basically, request.query string and request.forms, we have two options. In HTML classes, your teacher might have taught you about a method post and get. What is post? What is get? Get means values are transferred as query strings. Get means values are transferred as query strings. Post means values are not transferred as query strings. You will not see them in the address bar at all. You will not see them in the address bar. They will be carried in through HTTP headers. They'll be carried through HTTP headers. Means these values will be present behind the screen, which you cannot see them in the address bar. You cannot see them in the address bar. So By default, in HTML, what is the default method? Get or post? In HTML, what is the default method? Get or post? Get is the default method. In get, these two values, when you are calling, how they will be sent, you know? Suppose if this is get, all of you, if this is get, when I click on the login, all of you, just watch it. The values will go through the query string. How? HTTP, just watch. Localhost, some port, slash, login, question mark. Okay. TXT name is equals to Raju, ampersand, TXT password is equals to admin. Actually, I don't type this one. Understand, all this happens when I click on. When I click on the login button, immediately the request goes to the server like this. You notice it now. Already explained you. What are these? Query strings. And these are matching now. Or automatically the values will come here now. And if this is get, okay, this is for get. If it is get, this is how it passes. And if I say method is post, how will it pass? If it is post, you will see only this. You will see only this. Did you catch my point? You will see only this one now. You won't see the query string values now. The values are passed internally through HTTP headers. The values are not visible to you. Secured. Tomorrow, the password is shown in the address bar. Is it not a security threat? Tell me. If the password is visible in the address bar, is it not a security threat? Huh? It's a serious security threat now. Anyone can see your password. So if you want to bypass it, then we go for using post. When we say post, that's why I said method is equals to post. Your values are not visible. But now also, the values will come to the two. So if I don't use the parameters, to read the first one, request.queryString. To read the second one, request.form. To read the first one, request.queryString. To read the second one, without that headache, request. Might be query string, might be form. No matter for me now. That's why I changed. First I said request.queryString. It works only when it's a query string. But in the form, it won't get. If it is going to be post, you cannot read the value. Then you do change the code. How to change? Request.form. Don't paste that headache. Simply say request. There is a query string. That's a form. Who will recognize? The server will recognize. I'm not responsible. Are you clear? So this is one way you can just read it. Another option. Without these two, directly, what do you write? String txt name is equals to request of txt name and string txt password is equals to request of txt password. Request of txt password. Understood? So, sir, which method? Anything. Here get also it will work and here post also it will work. But if I say request.query string, then compulsory that should be get. Understood? If I say request.form, then compulsory it should be post. That's why don't have that headache. Simply say request of. Might be that is a get method or might be that is a post. Whatever it is, you can read the values in your code. Understood? So that's a beautiful name mapping concept that was available for you under MVC. Are you clear? That is a beautiful name mapping mechanism that is available under MVC. So parameter name, control name, if they match enough. Tomorrow you create a big form with 30-40 controls. You don't require to read all these things here. You can simply go for using the parameter names with the control names. Straight away the values will come up there. In the views we'll use var and wait. Can we access the parameters through post? That's what I'm telling you. Post or get, anything you can use. That's your choice. You write get there, it works. You write post there also, it works. Though both the two methods will work. Because here also I did not use any query string. You use get also, these two methods will run. If is post also, these two methods will run as is. There is no difference. Okay. So remember this one. When I am designing the UIs, I'll implement it. Why I said you now is, I was just only explaining about the parameters here. For you to make it understandable, I explained you the concept. When we go for creating the views, we'll follow all these things. We still did not come to the views. We are still the controllers. Let's complete this, then we'll go to views. Okay now? Next. So controllers clear. Under that we define some action methods. Yes or not? Let us go a little bit deep into action methods. Let us go a little bit deep into the concept of the action methods. A bit deeper, let's go into action methods. Read it. The methods that we defined under the controller class for performing user interactions are known as action methods. That is, users will directly call these methods for performing actions. Users are going to call these methods directly for performing the actions here. Point clear? Okay, users will be directly calling these particular methods for performing the actions. We already saw that. User is calling those methods only in the address bar. Okay, so that's what an action method is. Fine. And if at all you want to define the action methods, you need to follow some set of rules now. Rule number one. To define action methods, we need to follow a set of rules. First one. Action methods must be public. So every public method in a controller class is an action method only. So remember this, guys. Action methods must be public. So every public method you define inside a controller is always an action method. I did not do anything separately for writing an action method. A normal method only, just made it public. But if we change the name as private, it won't work. Is that clear? Suppose you go to your class now, any of this method, suppose validate one is there. Validate one I'm calling private. Okay, not validate one. Which one I changed? Index 10. The index 10 method I changed it as private. Params index 10. 404. Not found. Did not find the action method now. Is that clear? So the first important rule is action methods must be public. So every public method that you define in the class is going to be an action method. That is your choice, Satish. You want to define, I will tell you all the options you have, but that is your decision whether you want to use a route parameter, sir, whether you want to use query string, sir, whether you just want to use control, sir, that depends upon you. Okay. Next, action methods cannot be static. Action methods cannot be static because behind the screen, instance of the controller is used for calling the action method. I said you this point already, remember? These all methods are non-static. When you write the controller name in action method and hit the enter key, behind the screen an instance of the class gets created and the methods are invoked. I already explained you this. Yes or not? So that only I'm telling you, Array, you cannot define static methods. Why? Static methods cannot be called by instance, na? How do you call a static method? By the class name, not by using instance. So every action method should be non-static. Be careful, it cannot be static. Got it? Next. Overloading of the action methods is not suggested. Yesterday someone asked this question. Can I overload, sir? Yes, we can overload. You can overload action methods, but still that is not a suggested option. We can overload action methods, but still it is not a suggested option. It is not at all recommended overloading the action methods. Why, sir? Because, watch here. is a method. An method. Is an method. Now tell me, passing value for the name is mandatory or optional? Optional only, na? Because there is nullable optional. Now tell me, if you call the method say hello, which method invokes? You are calling it params slash say hello. Which method is invoked here? Ambiguity. There is a clear ambiguity. Yes or not? There is a clear ambiguity here. There is a clear ambiguity in this particular case now. So when you try to run this and you say params slash say hello, there is a clear ambiguity that is involved in this place now. Params, method name, say hello. Clearly telling you, see, the current request for action say hello and controller type parameter controller is ambiguous between the following action methods. Say hello of string. So there's an ambiguity now. Is the point clearer, all of you? If there is a clear ambiguity that is present for you at this place. So this is completely invalid. You cannot do this. Okay. But still, no sir, not suggested, but no sir, I still want to do it. If you still say you wanted to do it, we are provided with an attribute called as action name. We are provided with an attribute called as action name, and you can use this action name and give some alias name for your method. So how to call, sir? In the address bar, you need to use the action name method, but not the method name. What you should call say hello one. When I cannot call it by using the name say hello, what is the point of overloading it and again giving an alias name and calling it now? Did you catch my point or not? Can I use the say hello name anywhere? No, you cannot use. Compulsory what you should use? Say hello one, say hello two. Then what is the point of doing it now? Directly you can name the methods only as say hello one and say hello two, na? What do you say? Does it make sense? Option is available. You say, I want to do it. Yes, do it. It will give you. But is it going to be correct? No. It's not the right thing. But you have an option. Okay, how to call the methods? Params. What is the method name? Say hello is going to be an ambiguous call. There is no say hello. Say hello 1. Say hello 2. When you are using say hello 2, you have an option of passing a value. Name is equals to something. I can pass a value. Sorry. Good. Name is equals to something. Is it clear? So in the address bar, can I use in the request, can I use the method name? No, you cannot. What you should use is the action method name. Tomorrow, in any reason, so basically what is the use of this attribute, tomorrow if any reason, you want to hide the original method name, you want to hide. Forget overloading. Forget about overloading here. Just forget about overloading. Here, I defined a method called indexed. I want to hide this method name from the user. I want to hide this method name from the user. I can use a action name attribute. I can use a action name attribute. I forget about overloading. Don't think about overloading now. I want to give an alias name to my action method. Tomorrow, my action method name is very long here. The user has given, someone who defined the method has given a very long name for that now. That much name writing an address bar is a hell. So that also, you can give a shortcut, a simple alias name for it, and you can just use it like a name in your code. Without using the original name, you can bypass it by the action. In that scenarios, we use the action name attribute. And second place, whenever you are trying to go for overloading, we just use it. See, it's not suggested to overload action methods, but if required, we can still do that by decorating the method with clear up. Read this. In the above case, we need to call the method with the action name we have defined, but not with the original method name. The original method name cannot be used. To test this, define the above methods inside of params controller class, and then we need to call them as following. Okay now? Understood? So, do you think overloading and giving an action name is a wise choice? Is it a wise option? I personally say no. No, that's not going to be a wise option at all. I wanted to define some non-action method in the controller. I wanted to define some non-action method in a controller to write some logic. Just a normal method. You wanted to write a non-action method in a controller. If at all you want to define a non-action method in a controller, change the scope. If you don't write public, all are non-action methods only. If you don't write public, all are non-action methods. Suppose, for example, tell me, is it an action method or not? Yes or not? Is an action method. No, I don't want it to be an action method. I don't want it to be an action method. Just a minute. Yeah. Then use private or protected or internal or protected internal. You know all these options now. Or six scopes what we have: private, internal, protected, private protected, protected internal, public. So except the public, use anything. These are non-action methods. So can't I call them? You can't. Watch it. I'm defining one internal method. Run. Params test. Not found. Why? The method is not public. If I write public, can it be called? Params test. Got it? Yes or not? Okay. So how to make it non-action? Using any scope other than public. Yes or not? No, I want it public only. Because I want to consume it from other classes, other projects and all. I want to call this. Okay. No issues. That's how you can do. This is the second option you have. Method is public, but decorated with a non-action attribute. See now, you can't access. Not found. Method is public or not? But still it is not accessible because the method is decorated with a non-action attribute. Understood all of you? If we wanted to define any non-action methods in a controller class, make sure they are not public, or else decorate them with non-action attribute. And in this case, when we try to access those methods from browser, we got 404 not found error. So 2 ways to write the code. Choose any mechanism you like. That's your choice. Either private or internal or protected, any of these particular things, not all, just to give a understanding, or any of these particular things. Or otherwise, let me use angular braces. Why angular braces represents any na? Any of these options used. What? Either private or internal or protected. If you still want to try the other two options also, what is it? Private protected, protected internal. Okay. Or what's it? Private protected. Other option? Protected internal. Choice is yours, guys. You can just use any of the mechanism you want. Private or internal or protected or private protected or protected internal. Write any of these things. No issue. Otherwise, the simplest option. That's it. That is the simplest option. Non-action. When I say non-action, automatically the method becomes a non-action method now. Is it clearer, everyone? Next. Action methods are generally value returning. Action methods are generally value returning. You may have a doubt here. Can't I define non-value returning methods as action methods, sir? Can't I write non-value returning methods as action methods? Can't I do that? You can. You can do that, guys. Watch it. Public void show. Public void show. Are you clear? Just simply here I'm writing string str is equals to hello world. Str is equals to str dot to upper. Or otherwise here we'll take that string as a parameter here. String str. And I am taking the string as a parameter here. Means I need to pass the string here. Okay, something. I'll say string value something here. Any name, no issues. String value. So I'm just going to declare something as string value here. Here I'm writing value is equals to value dot toString. Now passing this value is must na. When I call this show, if I don't pass also no problem, I can pass. How do I pass? Code string. It's not in the route na. You're not in the route. Immediately string. How to write? Params show question mark value is equals to something. I'm writing value is equals to Raju. Did you get any error? That's what it is. Sir, no output. Why will you get here? That's non-value returning method. You won't see any output. So what I'm trying to show you is, yesterday someone asked this question in the online. Can I define non-value returning method? Yeah, you can define, but you will not see any output now. Then what is the point of writing them? Did you get my question or not? You don't get any output on screen, blank screen will come. Then what is the point of writing a non-value returning method? Got the point? That is why I'm telling you, action methods are generally value returning, not action methods are, I'm not telling you action methods are always non-value returning. Understand English correctly. If I say action methods should always be value returning, means mandatory. But what I'm telling you, action methods are generally value returning. Means they are not specific here. They're not specifically value returning. In general, they will be value returning methods. I hope you guys are clear. Yes or not? Manikanta, you are facing the problem. That's from your side. I can't do anything. Just disconnect and connect from your side. Okay, fine. So, yeah, that's what. Action methods are generally value returning. And very importantly, in an MVC application, action methods return type is action result. Carefully listen to me. Till now, so many action methods I defined you. What is the return type I used? String. I used string as return type. And you can use a int or a double or whatever you want, but I use the string as return type. But the most common return type what action method returns is action result. What is that? An action result is a class. String is also class only. If you can return string, you can return action result also. String not a class, huh? String is a class, object is a class. I can have them as a return types now. Same way, action result is a class which we are going to use as a return type in this context. Is my point clear? So the most common return type what an action method have is action result. It's a class. Okay? It's not mandatory to use this class here. Under this class we have so many child classes. We have so many child classes. We can use those child classes also. All those are action results only. Array, see, remember, every class that is defined under an exception is an exception. Correct? When you're throwing, you can throw any exception. Exactly here also. Under action result, we have a set of classes. What classes? I'll show you. We have a set of classes. We can use any of these classes as return type of your action method. Any class is a return type of your method, and all of them are called as action results. Is it clear? Where action result is a class, and under this class there are a set of child classes, and we can use any of those classes as the return type of action method, and the child classes are okay, and the child classes of action methods are is a list. Have a look, guys. This is the list of the child classes what you have in your action methods. Okay, just a minute. Action result is a class, and under this class there are a set of child classes, and we call all those classes as action results only. Array, I'm not, if I don't mention this in your notes also, no issue, because just to recollect yourself. What is that? You learned already in your object-oriented programming. Anything that is defined under an exception class is an exception. Anything that is defined under the control class is a control. Windows programming, remember, all classes under control are controls. Means all classes under action result are action results only. Set of child classes, and we call all those classes as action results only. And we can use any of those child classes as a return type of our action method. Return type of our action method. Okay? Return type of our action method. And guys, list of action result child classes. Yeah, you can have a look. This is a list of the action result child classes. For the parent, louder. Under that you see the first child class is file result. Under file result we have again file path result, file stream result, file content result. See, exception. Under that application exception, system exception. Under system exception again arithmetic exception. Under arithmetic exception again divide by zero, overflow. Subclasses will be there na. All child classes only. File result. Under the three types of results. Next. Redirect result, JavaScript result, partial view result, HTTP status code result, redirect to route result. All these are the different types of results what you have under the class now. It's not like one, there are various. There's a list of, I can't do that. If your network speed is not good, what can I do? If the problem is for all the people, that's from my side. If the problem is only for you, that's your problem. You need to check your network speed. I hope you guys are clearer what I'm telling you. This is a list. And see guys, this is general signature of an action method will be as following. a general signature of action method. Public. Are you clear? What will come? Action result. Name, parameter list. Implement required logic here. Finally, you need to return an action result. Finally, you just require to return an action result in this case now. Okay? And guys, remember that's a general syntax. What I just given you, an explanation for you in that place. Okay? So the general syntax of the action methods will be like this. Now, how many results are there? So many. Yes or not? So many. Even though you have so many things available there, even though you have so many things that are available there, the most important action result is view result. What is that? View result means action method returns views. Ray, what is that MVC architecture I said you? You send a request to an action method, will send you a view back. Will send you a view back. I'm calling a action method. That should send me a view now. Is the point clear? That should send you a view back. So that's why the most important action result of an action method is view result. And a view in an MVC application is the user interface which contains all the presentation logic. You guys are already aware that what will the view contain? Presentation logic will be present for you. Did you understand my point? I can have anything as written type. That's it. To prove you, till now I showed string as written type. Array, we can have anything as written type, but general option is view result. Okay, few results will be used as the written types of your action methods. And you see, an action method, to return an action result, we are provided with a set of methods known as helper methods. And these helper methods are defined under controller class, which is present, which is the parent or base class of all the controllers we define. So what is this? I'll tell you. If you want to return a string in your code, what do you do first? I am writing a method, guys. The method should return a string. Public string test. I want to return a string in my code. What should I do first? First, I should declare a string now. String str is equals to something. Return str. Return str. What are you doing? You are creating a string class instance. You are creating a string class instance. Do you remember? I explained you this in object-oriented programming. What is it? Only string class have that flexibility. You can create an instance without using a new keyword. You write the string str is equals to hello world, but internally it is a instance. That is nothing but string str is equals to new string. Did you catch my point? But the flexibility is only given for string class. When you write the code like this, that will convert into instance creation code by the compiler. Compiler converts this code. How? You write like this, and internally the code will be like this. String str is equals to new string of. Okay, all of you carefully observe. New char array H-E hello space. That's also a character only now. Space again. Actually, in C language, you guys learned string is a character array. Yes or not? Means if at all you want to create a string, that is the actual code you should write. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready to write that? Writing hello, how are you? Or some I'll give you a 100 character paragraph now. Write that like that now. You'll start trying to write it. You'll miss a comma, you'll miss a single code. Hundreds of mistakes will come. That's what it said. Alright, don't worry. You simply say string str is equals to hello world. I will convert that code. Are you clear? I will convert that code. When you guys are going to write it like this, but this is the internal code, what gets executed. What is a new character array, and all these are passed as a character array, and that will build you a string behind the screen. But you are not writing this. This is the simplest form you're writing. So what is str? Instance of the string. What is str? Instance of the string. You're creating a instance of the string. So return a string. What is the first step? Create the instance of string and return it. Same way, guys, if I say public view result, just for example, test 2. Now tell me what is the return type? Come on. Return type is view result. Means what is the view result? I already said you all these are classes. All these are classes. Means should I create an instance of the class or not? Tell me. I should create an instance of the class. How? View result something. View is equals to new view result. And afterwards, I should say return view. Now in this process, in this particular process, guys, I should tell the name of the view that should launch now. I should tell the name of the view that has to launch. When you simply say return view, which view? Where is it? I should tell that. Okay, how should I tell? Like this. Suppose your view name is test2 dot CSHTML. So now you see you are creating an instance of the class. Which class? Pointing to the view file. Pointing to the view file. Then you say return view. Will return the view. Are you getting me? Just like string class has decreased the burden of writing a lengthy statement is equals to new string of passing the character array, or here creating the instance of the view result and passing the path of the file. Are you following me? Without passing the, actually it should be the path of the file here. I'm sorry, it should be the path of the file. I should write a tilde. Tilde means project folder. Tilde refers to the root folder of the project. Slash views slash. If the name of the controller is params slash, that is how I should pass. Tilde means project folder, and project folder, views folder, under views folder, params. What is params? Controller. Under params, test2.cshtml is what exactly I just want to. Is it lengthy or not? Come on, tell me, is that code lengthy or not? So that's way, without asking you to write this much lengthy code to you, just like string class has given an option, simply say str is equals to hello world, I will do the remaining thing for you. You are not responsible to write the logic like this. What you do, you know, simply write return view. That's it. Return view. Sir, what is that? That is a method here. You are calling a method. View is a method. Bases are there. See, what is it? A method. You are calling a method directly. Yeah, if a method is defined in my class, I can directly call it. Blank faces you put again. You learned object-oriented programming now. If a method is defined in your class, can you directly call it or not? Sir, where is this method defined? The method is defined in your parent class. Parent class methods are my methods only. Parent class method is my method. We already talked about all these things. If the method is defined in parent, what do you meaning? That's my method only. So directly I can call return view. This is the method. What is it defined for you? Where is it defined? Controller. So when I say, see, when I say string str is equals to hello world, it will convert all these things. When I say return view, guys, listen. When I say return view, behind the screen, this is the actual logic that gets executed. What is the advantage? I don't require to specify the path of my view file. That's the responsibility of the system to recognize it. See, my code is simple. Return view, that's all. Which view? That will recognize, not my job. Are you getting my point or not? They made your work simple, see? Return view. But this return view statement is internally creating the instance, pointing to the file, and finally returning the instance here. Without all that, you are simply writing return view. Means in this method, this code is present. Clearer up. In this method, what is present? This code is going to be present. So we call this as a helper method. What is that? Where these helper methods are defined? Controller class. The controller is my parent. So be my parent class means, okay, my only. Array, my father purchased something, yeah, mine. Yes or not? If my father provided mine only. No one can object you. This is your father. Who can say? It's your father. Your father purchased. My father purchased also. I'm the legal owner for that. No one can stop me. Is that clear? So exactly, all these methods are defined in your parent class. What's your parent class? Controller is your parent class. Okay, guys, read this paragraph once again. I'll show you the list of all the helper methods. Come on. An action method. To return an, we are provided with a set of methods known as, and these helper methods are defined under controller class, which is the parent or base class for all our controllers. For all our controllers, or for all the controllers we define. And you guys can watch. These are the different results now. Okay then. These are the helper methods then. The helper method name to return the file result is file. The helper method name to return the JSON result is JSON. View result is, that only I said, you know, return view will return your view result. Empty result. Empty result means void here. That's void method. Void methods are useless. Option is there. Next, content result. Helper method name is content. Redirect result. Redirect. JavaScript result. JavaScript. Partial view result. Partial view. HTTP status code result. HTTP not found. Redirect to route result. Redirect to route. Redirect to route result. Two are there. Redirect to action. Both will return here. I will explain you both. Not both here. I'll explain you all. We'll look at all along with empty result also. Even though that doesn't return anything, I will show you all options that are available to you. Every helper method, every action result, when should I use? I will show you in practical. But 99% what we define is view results. Are you clear? 1% chance to go with file result, JSON result, empty result, content result, redirect result, JavaScript result, partial view result, HTTP status code. We will use them. All of them will use. We will not miss anything at all. Everything will be used. But very less chances. 99% all will be view results, and the written type will be view zone. As the name says, we are working with MVC. View is the most important thing what you have in this case. This code is not there in the notes, sir. Why? Why is it not there? Everything will be in the notes here. Note, all the above helper methods are defined under the class controller, and see them, and to see them, go to params-controller.cs file, and in the file, right click on controller, right click on what? Controller class, and select the option go to definition, which will take you to the predefined controller class and displays the metadata of that class. You guys know this option, go to definition. You can go and verify. Right click, go to definition, and here the methods should be present. If not present, they'll be in its parent. If you don't see here, if you don't see the methods here, what do you meaning? They'll be in the its parent. See there a method for partial view. View result. It's going to be a view result. Like this, these methods are overloaded method here. You can pass an object model. I'll show you all examples. You can pass a view name. You can pass a view name, master name. I'll show you. Don't worry. All those options I'll show you. View name, model, view name, master name. No, not that's iView. That is iView. iView object. Okay, see, I will show you all these overloads. How we can just use. Master name is nothing but the controller name. Master name is nothing but the controller name or whatever it is. I will show you these particular options. Don't worry. But that's overloaded. You go there and you can see all the things in that particular place. Okay, how to say? Right click, go to definition. And when you say go to definition, it's just going to show you the code of all those things there. Is it clear? We can just verify in that particular place all these action methods that are defined for you in the controller class. Am I clearer, guys? Understood about this? Oh, time is 8:47. Oh, okay, guys. So we are done with, we're just done with the views and the views results. So tomorrow I'll show you writing views with view results. I will also see creating views. Okay, we'll go through it in detail tomorrow. Let's stop here. After completing MVC 5, we will move here. చేయించలేదా ఫ్యాన్ బిజీగా ఉన్నారంటే క్లాస్ క్యాన్సిల్ చేసండి అయితే బిజీగా ఉన్నారని చెప్పి